Hello students, I am Sai Baba here. So now I am going to start this topic expansion of solids in heat. So as usual I advise the students to concentrate to just listen to my explanation. So I will be showing the summary of the conclusions or notes in a systematic manner at later stage. So don't be in a hurry, don't be in a mood to start writing now. Keep your pen aside. So just concentrate only to listen to the discussions. So before my end of this class, I will be showing you the summary of the conclusions and the notes for this topic in the PowerPoint presentation. So we are going to start the topic expansion of solids. As all of us know that almost all the substances, solids, liquids or gases usually expand on heating, excluding some exceptional cases. So in this chapter we'll confine our discussion for the expansion of a solid. So when a solid is heated uniformly, its dimensions will change, and the length, linear dimensions of solid like length, breadth, etc. will increase with increase in the temperature. So there will be an increase in the volume of the solid also. But all these solids do not expand by the same amount, even if they are heated through same range of temperatures. So all these solids do not expand equally. I mean, increase in the length or linear dimension of a solid rod when it is heated by given rise in temperature for given range of temperature will not only depend on the original length and increase in temperature, also depends on nature of the material of solid. So some solids expand more compared to the other solids for same original dimensions and for same increase in temperature. So to compare the expansions of different solids with variation of temperature, we define a term called the coefficient of linear expansion of the material of solid. So this topic is also discussed in the school level syllabus, but in the problems you have done in the school syllabus, usually it is assumed that the coefficient of linear expansion of a solid, which is denoted by alpha, to be constant for a given material of solid and does not vary with temperature. But in practice, for many solids, the coefficient of volume expansion or coefficient of linear expansion may change with change in temperature. Of course, the change may not be appreciable for some solids in some particular range of temperatures, but the coefficient of linear expansion or coefficient of volume expansion of solid definitely depends on temperature. So the average value of the coefficient of linear expansion. That's why we first define about the average value of the coefficient of linear expansion for the material of solid for a given range of temperatures. Suppose if L is the length of the solid at temperature T and length of the solid changes by delta L when the temperature of the solid is supposed changed from T to T plus delta T. So here delta T is the change in the temperature and delta L is the corresponding change in the length of solid. And L is the original length of solid at the original temperature denoted by capital T. Then average value of coefficient of linear expansion of the material of the solid in this temperature range delta T is given by delta L by L into delta T. That means change in the length delta L represents change in the length of the solid. L is the original length. And delta T is the change in the temperature. So average value of coefficient of linear expansion of material of solid for a given range of temperature is equal to change in the length of the solid by original length divided by change in the temperature. That means average value of coefficient of linear expansion is numerically equal to the change in the length per unit original length and per unit change in the temperature. It is expressed per degree centigrade or per degree Kelvin usually, because change in length and original length both have same units and dimensions. So units for alpha is reciprocal of unit for change in the temperature. Of course, the value of alpha will be same whether we express temperatures on Kelvin scale or sometimes we may express temperature on centigrade scale. Increase in the temperature on Kelvin scale numerically same as the increase in the temperature on centigrade scale. So the numerical value of alpha will be the same whether it is expressed in per degree centigrade or per degree Kelvin. So here the actual value or absolute value of the coefficient of linear expansion of the material of solid at the temperature capital T is taken as equal to the average value of the coefficient of linear expansion when this delta T is small. When the change in the temperature delta T becomes infinitesimally small, then the average value of the coefficient of linear expansion for the material of solid for the change in temperature delta T for this range of temperature T and T plus delta T can be taken as equal to the absolute value of coefficient of linear expansion at temperature T when delta T becomes infinitesimally small. So therefore the coefficient of linear expansion of material of solid at temperature T can be written as mathematically limit delta T tending to 0 delta L by L into delta T. Please don't write the running notes when I am discussing. I will be showing you the notes separately in a systematic way, which you can write later. So as I told you, the average value of the coefficient of linear expansion of the material of solid in the temperature range T and T plus delta T is given by delta L by L into delta T, where L is the length of the original length of solid at original temperature T. So the absolute value of the coefficient of linear expansion of solid at temperature T, at the initial temperature T, can be written as limit delta T tending to 0, delta L by L into delta T. Or in the calculus notation, we write alpha equal to dl by L dt. So here delta L is replaced by dl and delta T can be replaced by dt when delta T is very, very small, or we say infinitesimally small in the limiting case. That means if the length of the solid changes by infinitesimally small amount dl from L to L plus dl, when the temperature of the rod changes by infinitesimally small amount dt from T to T plus dt, then the coefficient of linear expansion of the material solid temperature T can be written dl by L dt. In majority of the numerical problems we discuss for your board exam or for different entrance examinations, alpha is assumed to be constant. So if alpha is assumed to be constant, then delta L you can write. I mean, if alpha is given to be constant for the given range of temperatures, in that case delta L can be written as alpha into L into delta T. That means change in the length of uniform rod is equal to alpha into original length and change in temperature. So if the coefficient of linear expansion alpha is given to be constant for the given range of temperatures between T and T plus delta T, then change in the length of the rod when the temperature changes by delta T, that is changes from T to T plus delta T, can be written as alpha into L into delta T. So if alpha is not constant, there are some exceptional problems we may discuss only for preparation of all India entrance exams. So if alpha is not constant, suppose if alpha, if you are given alpha as a function of the temperature of solid, then in change in the length for infinitesimally small change in temperature, we can write dl equal to alpha into L dt. That means dl is a change in the length for infinitesimally small change in temperature dt when the temperature changes from T to T plus dt. Length changes from L to L plus dl. Delta T can be replaced by dt when the temperature delta T is infinitesimally small. So actual change in the temperature for finite change in the temperature, finite change in actual change in the length of the solid, or finite change in temperature can be found by integrating this expression between the initial and final temperatures. So in most of the problems we are going to do in the expansion of solids, we assume that coefficient of linear expansion is constant for the given material of solid, unless we are specifically given that. alpha varies with temperature. Otherwise, it is understood or assumed that the coefficient of linear expansion alpha is the constant for given material of the solid. So, of course, all the solids are basically classified into two categories: isotropic solids and anisotropic solids. So all our discussion mostly in this chapter is about isotropic solids. So isotropic solids, an isotropic solid expands uniformly in all possible directions. An isotropic solid expands uniformly in all possible directions. For example, uniform solid rectangular block made up of isotropic solid is heated uniformly. Then fractional change in the breadth of the solid will be same as the fractional change in the length of solid. That will be same as the fractional change in the thickness of solid. Anisotropic solid means a solid which does not expand uniformly in all directions. We call it as anisotropic solid. So an isotropic solid will have the same value of alpha in all directions. But anisotropic solid will not have same value of alpha in all directions. For most of our discussion is confined to isotropic solid, where the solid expands uniformly in all possible, in all three mutually perpendicular directions. We choose three coordinate axes. X, Y, and Z along the three linear dimensions of a rectangular solid block of a solid. Then the value of alpha for expansion along x-axis same as the value of alpha for linear expansion along parallel to y-axis. And that is same as the value of alpha for linear expansion of solid along z-axis. So our discussion is now mostly confined about isotropic solids. Now, if alpha is constant, in a given range of temperatures between T1 and T2, then coefficient of linear expansion of the material of solid can be written as L2 minus L1 by L1 into T2 minus T1. So of course here L1 is the length of the solid at temperature T1, L2 is the length of the same solid at higher or different temperature T2. Or from same equation you can write L2 minus L1 equal to alpha into L1 into T2 minus T1. That means when uniform solid is heated uniformly, then increase in the length of the solid. You concentrate to listen. Don't write running notes when I am explaining. So increase the length of solid is equal to coefficient of linear expansion alpha into original length of the solid multiplied by the increase in the temperature, which we directly write in many problems. Increase the length is equal to alpha into original length and increase in temperature. So from same equation, if you carry minus L1 to the right, so you can write L2 equal to L1 plus alpha into L1 into T2 T2 minus T1. So length of solid at temperature T2 can be written as length L1 at temperature T1. The 1 plus alpha into T2 minus T1. Or we denote the initial temperature by T and initial length by L. Final temperature by T dash and final length by L dash. Then L dash can be written as L into 1 plus alpha into T dash minus T. So coming to the area, when a solid is heated uniformly, I mean if a regular solid, for example, uniform solid block, rectangular block, or solid cube, or uniform solid sphere, is heated uniformly, there will be increase in its linear dimensions. So if you consider any isotropic solid, when an isotropic solid is heated uniformly, then the shape of the solid at higher temperature looks similar to the photographic enlargement of the solid at lower temperature. That means the shape does not change, but dimensions will change. Uniform solid sphere is heated uniformly. I mean, if uniform solid sphere made up of isotropic solid, heated uniformly, then its volume increases, surface area increases. But we can assume that the shape of solid is again spherical even at higher temperature. So similarly, we can define another two coefficients of expansion for solid corresponding to increase in area and increase in volume. The coefficient of aerial expansion, I mean average value of the coefficient of aerial expansion of the solid can be defined as fractional change in the surface area of solid for unit change in the temperature of solid. Suppose if the surface area of solid changes from A to A plus delta A, and the temperature of solid is changed from T to T plus delta T. That means delta A represents change in the surface area, and the temperature of the solid changes by delta T. And the average value of the coefficient of aerial expansion of the material of solid in the temperature range between T and T plus delta T is given by beta, denoted by beta here, subscript AB. Can write it as delta A by A into delta T. That is increase in the surface area or change in the surface area of the solid divided by original surface area into change in temperature of the solid. Now actual value of the coefficient of aerial expansion, or I can say absolute value, we call absolute value or actual value of the coefficient of aerial expansion solid temperature T, can be found by considering infinitesimally small change in the temperature. So beta can be written as limit delta T tending to 0, delta A by A into delta T. That means coefficient of aerial expansion of solid at absolute temperature T can be taken as equal to the average value of the coefficient of aerial expansion of solid in this temperature interval T to T plus delta T, when delta T becomes infinitesimally small, that is delta T tending to 0. Or in calculus rotation, we write beta equal to dA by A into dt. That means delta A can be replaced by dA and delta T can be replaced by dt when delta T is infinitesimally small, that means tending to 0. That means here dA is a change in the surface area of solid when the temperature changes by infinitesimally small amount dt. That means when the temperature of irregular uniform solid changes by infinitesimally small amount dt from T to T plus dt, then if its surface area changes from A to A plus dA, then the coefficient of aerial expansion at temperature T can be written as beta equal dA by A into dt. Suppose if the coefficient of aerial expansion of solid, unless you are specifically given in the problem that coefficient of aerial expansion varies with temperature. Otherwise, we assume that coefficient of aerial expansion is constant. So if beta is constant or coefficient of aerial expansion is constant in between two temperatures T1 and T2, then you can write beta equal to A2 minus A1 by A1 into T2 minus T1. Of course, A1 is on at temperature T1, A2 is the surface area of solid at temperature T2. So from the same equation you can write A2 minus A1 beta into A1 into T2 minus T1. That means change in the surface area of solid or increase in the surface area is equal to beta into original surface area and increase in the temperature. So from same equation you can write A2 equal to take minus A1 to the right side. A1 plus beta into A1 into T2 minus T1. Or we can write A2 equal to A1 into 1 plus beta into T2 minus T1. Similarly, we can define the coefficient of volume expansion of solid. The coefficient of volume expansion is sometimes also called as coefficient of cubical expansion of the solid. Suppose when a regular solid, isotropic solid is heated uniformly, there will be increase in its volume, then the average value of the coefficient of volume expansion of the material of solid can be defined as the ratio of change in the surface area of the solid for unit degree rise in temperature and unit original surface area of solid. Or, I'm sorry, it's not coefficient of aerial expansion, we are talking about coefficient of volume expansion. So the average value of coefficient of volume expansion of the material solid can be defined as the fractional change in the volume of the solid for unit change in the temperature of solid. Suppose if the temperature of solid is changed from T to T plus delta T, that is, solid is heated uniformly, so the temperature of all parts of solid by change by the same amount from T to T plus delta T. So suppose the volume of solid changes from V to V plus delta V. That means V is the original volume of solid at original temperature T, and delta V is the change in the volume of solid when temperature of solid changes by delta T. Then the delta V by V, that means change in the volume of the solid divided by original volume. This we call it as fractional change in the volume. Delta V by V is called fractional change in volume. So again I tell you, please concentrate to listen. Don't write running notes. So fractional delta V by V is the fractional change in the volume of the solid. So fractional change in the volume of solid is delta V by V. Or you can say delta V by V is a fractional change in the volume of solid when the temperature changes by delta T. So fractional change in the volume of solid for unit change in temperature will be delta V by V to delta T. So fractional change in volume is numerically equal to the increase in the volume for unit original volume. So the average value coefficient of volume expansion of material solid is defined by this equation, delta V by V into delta T. The average value of the coefficient of volume expansion denoted by gamma subscript A V. So delta V we write some questions directly as gamma AV into V into delta T. So the absolute value of the coefficient of volume expansion at temperature capital T is given by gamma equal to limit delta T tending to 0 delta V by V to delta T, or in calculus rotation, can write alpha equal to dV by V dt. Here dV is the change in the volume of solid, then the temperature of solid changes by infinitesimally small amount dt. Of course, some of the books question of volume expansion denoted by alpha subscript V. But I try to denote it by gamma as the notation followed by most of the teachers in the schools and colleges. So therefore, the volume coefficient of expansion of material of solid temperature T can be written as gamma equal to dV by V dt. That means when the volume of solid changes from V to V plus dV, and the temperature of the solid changes by infinitesimally small amount dt from T to T plus dt, then the absolute value of the coefficient of volume expansion of the material of solid at temperature T is given by dV by V dt. So gamma, beta and alpha, all the three are expressed in the same units, that is paradegree centigrade or paradegree Kelvin. Because change in volume and original volume, delta V and V both will have same units. So units of volume get cancelled when you calculate the value of gamma. So if the value of the, unless you are specifically given the problem that the coefficient of volume expansion of the material solid changes, otherwise we assume that the coefficient of volume expansion of the solid is constant for given range of temperatures. So if gamma is constant, that means coefficient of volume expansion of material of solid is constant between two temperatures T1 and T2. Then we can write gamma equal to V2 minus V1 by V1 into T2 minus T1. Here V1 is the volume of solid at temperature T1. V2 is the volume of the same mass of solid at temperature T2. So from the same equation you can write V2 minus V1 is equal to gamma into V1 into T2 minus T1. In some of the numerical problems, we directly calculate. So increase in the volume of a substance, whether it is solid or liquid, is equal to volume coefficient of expansion into original volume multiplied by increase in the temperature. So from same equation you can write V2 equal to V1 plus gamma V1 into T2 minus T1, or you can write V2 equal to V1 into 1 plus gamma into T2 minus T1. In some of the problems this equation is used directly. Now next I am going to summarize all the conclusions. Summarize the entire discussion I have done so far. That is, I am going to show you the PowerPoint presentation of the summary of the discussion I have done so far. So those who are interested to write the notes, they can get ready with notebook and pen. I am going to show you the summary of the entire discussion I have done so far in this class. In case you are interested to write the notes, you can take a pause wherever necessary and you can write the notes. Even if you are not interested to write the notes, I advise the students to listen to the summary of the discussion, which I am going to show you now. Come on, look at the screen. I am going to show you the notes for whatever I have discussed now in this class. I am going to read out. If L is the original length of an uniform solid at a temperature capital T, and delta L is the change in the length of the solid when temperature changes by delta T, that is from T to T plus delta T, then average value of the coefficient of linear expansion of the material solid in the above temperature range is given by alpha subscript AB equal delta L by L into delta T. Come on, those who want to copy the notes, they can take a pause and copy the notes. Next, I am going to show the continuation to this. The coefficient of linear expansion of solid at temperature capital T is given by alpha equal to limit delta T tending to 0, delta L by L into delta T, or alpha equal to 1 by L into dL by dt. So change in the length when the temperature changes by infinitesimally small amount dt, starting from temperature T, can be written as alpha L dt. So we use this form whenever you are given the expression for alpha as a function of temperature. So in case you are given an exceptional problem where alpha is expressed as a function of temperature, then we write the expression for dl. Then to find the actual change in the length of the rod for given change in temperature, this must be integrated by after substituting the value of alpha as a function of temperature. But in most of the problems I am going to deal with now, alpha will be a constant for given range of temperatures. So I am going to show the next slide. So the coefficient of linear expansion is nearly constant between temperatures capital T1 and capital T2. Then alpha equal to L2 minus L1 by L1 in T2 minus T1, or L2 minus L1 equal to alpha into L1 into T2 minus T1. That is, we can write change in length equal to alpha into original length into change in the temperature. So from same equation you can write L2 equal L1 into 1 plus alpha into T2 minus T1, where L1 is equal length of solid at temperature T1, L2 equal length of solid at temperature T2. So those who want to copy the note, they can take a pause and copy the notes. Similarly, if the surface area of a regular uniform solid changes from A to A plus delta A, when the temperature of solid is changed from T to T plus delta T, and the average value of the coefficient of areal expansion of the solid is given by beta subscript AB equal to delta A divided by A delta T. Its value at temperature capital T is given by its value at temperature capital T is given by beta equal limit delta T tending to 0, delta A by A delta T, or you can write beta equal 1 by A into dA by dt. Come on, those who want to copy the notes, they can take a pause and copy the notes. So here dA represents the change in the surface area of the solid during the infinitesimal, for the infinitesimal change in temperature dt from T to T plus dt. So I am going to show the continuation to this. Beta is nearly constant temperature range, delta T equal T2 minus T1. Then beta you can write A2 minus A1 by A1 in T2 minus T1. Beta equal to A2 minus A1 by A1 in T2 minus T1. Or A2 you can write A1 into 1 plus beta into T2 minus T1. Here where A1 is area of solid temperature T1 and A2 is the area of solid temperature T2. So those who want to copy the notes, they can take a pause and copy the notes. I am going to show you the next slide. The volume of an uniform solid changes from V to V plus delta V when its temperature changes from capital T to capital T plus delta T. Then the average value of the coefficient of volume expansion of solid given by gamma subscript A V equal delta V by V delta T. Its value at temperature capital T is given by gamma its value at temperature capital T is given by gamma equal limit delta T tending to 0 delta V by V delta T. Or you can write gamma equal 1 by V into dV by dt. So gamma I can write 1 by V into dV by dt. So those who want to copy the note, they can take a pause and copy the notes. If gamma is nearly constant in the temperature range, delta T equal T2 minus T1. So if gamma equal V2 minus V1 by V1 in T2 minus T1, or V2 minus V1, you can write gamma into V1 in T2 minus T1, where V1 and V2 are the volumes of solid at temperature T1 and T2 respectively. That means increase in the volume of the solid can be done gamma into original volume, it increases the temperature. So from same equation you can write V2 equal to V1 into 1 plus gamma into T2 minus T1. So the formula which I have given for gamma, that is question of volume expansion, is also applicable even for liquids. Of course, later we'll discuss that liquids will have only question of volume expansion. They do not have the questions of aerial linear expansion. Only solids have questions of linear and aerial expansion. So the last formula I have written for gamma is applicable both for solids and liquids. If the gamma is given to be constant for a given range of temperatures. So in next class I will be discussing the relationship between alpha, beta and gamma, and I will also be discussing some special cases related to the expansion of solids.